Prince Harry choosing peace has quietly become the most chaotic thing to ever happen to British royal commentary, which is ironic, because peace is supposed to be calm, soothing, maybe accompanied by herbal tea. Instead, it has caused a full-scale identity crisis among commentators who built entire careers around predicting Harry's next emotional reaction, like it was a recurring solar eclipse. The man has stopped reacting on schedule, and suddenly nobody knows what day it is anymore. For years, the formula was simple. Harry speaks, the media panics. Harry defends himself, he's angry. Harry stays silent, he's scheming. Harry breathes, it's deeply concerning. But now Harry has committed the ultimate sin. He has emotionally matured in public. And nothing rattles an old system faster than someone who refuses to perform their assigned role. This is where the phrase "Harry White Flag" starts doing the rounds, usually whispered with the same tone people use when describing a suspicious neighbour who smiles too calmly. But let's translate that properly. A white flag implies surrender. What Harry is doing is something far more dangerous to his critics. He's disengaging from nonsense without apologising for it. That's not defeat, that's graduation. Harry's so-called peace move has been treated like a riddle wrapped in a mystery wrapped in a think piece. Commentators tilt their heads, stroke their chins, and ask what it really means, as if a man focusing on service, family and mental health must secretly be plotting a coup against breakfast television. The idea that Harry might simply be choosing a calmer life is apparently too boring and too threatening to accept. And this is where the humour comes in, because the louder the criticism gets, the quieter Harry becomes. It's almost performance art at this point. Every time someone declares that Harry is losing relevance, he turns up at the Invictus Games, speaks to veterans, hugs families, listens to stories that actually matter, and reminds everyone what leadership looks like when it's not obsessed with optics. Invictus is deeply inconvenient for people who prefer their royals ornamental. You can't dismiss it as a photo opportunity because it keeps delivering results. You can't mock it as a vanity project because it keeps centering people who don't care about palace politics. And you definitely can't ignore it because it refuses to disappear no matter how many times critics insist Harry should move on. The idea of Invictus Birmingham has only intensified this discomfort. Because Birmingham represents something very specific, Harry's ability to return to the UK without asking permission, without lowering his head, and without pretending the past didn't happen. He wouldn't be returning as a prodigal son begging forgiveness. He would be returning as a leader attached to service, impact, and global respect. That terrifies people who prefer neat hierarchies where approval only flows one way. And then there's Meghan, referred to here consistently and deliberately as Meghan, a Sussex prince. Meghan's continued existence seems to cause more distress than any single interview ever did. She is calm, she is composed, she is visibly unbroken. And for critics who predicted her downfall with the confidence of meteorologists forecasting sunshine, this is deeply inconvenient. Meghan's greatest act of rebellion is not speaking, it's not explaining. She does not rush to reassure those who never believed her. She does not contort herself into palatable shapes for people committed to misunderstanding her. She simply lives, builds, and thrives. And nothing enrages critics more than a woman who refuses to perform suffering for their comfort. Now, let's talk about the palace-adjacent whispering, because it always arrives dressed as concern. According to insiders quoted by OK magazine, Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, see their recent trip as a way to reset the narrative, focusing on duty, stability, and public service. Reset is such a fascinating word. You don't reset something that's irrelevant. You reset something that has drifted, slipped, or been exposed. And what's particularly amusing is that this reset is being framed as a response to jockeying for attention, despite the fact that Harry is currently minding his business so hard it should be classified as a wellness retreat. We're told the competition has become draining and counterproductive, that there's little appetite for reactive publicity. And yet Harry's name continues to appear in every explanation like an unpaid consultant who refuses to stop influencing outcomes. If Harry were truly out of the picture, there would be nothing to reset against. And that's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Another insider speaks solemnly about sensitivity, perception, and the risks of missteps conflicting with carefully stated positions, which raises an uncomfortable reality. Harry has survived years of scrutiny, accusations, and public dissection without imploding. If instability were coming, it would have arrived already. Instead, what we're seeing is Harry maturity in its most irritating form, quiet, consistent, and immune to bait. This is why the Harry and William silence has become such a fixation. Silence is supposed to be temporary. Silence is supposed to be broken. Silence is supposed to lead to dramatic reconciliation scenes. But Harry's silence isn't passive. It's intentional. He is not withholding words out of spite. He is simply no longer narrating his life for an audience that treated his pain as entertainment. That's not avoidance. That's discernment. Harry's calm approach is being interpreted as strategy because, frankly, it is. And there is nothing wrong with that. Strategy is what adults use when they understand that not every conversation deserves a response, and not every provocation deserves attention. The idea that only institutions are allowed strategy while individuals must remain emotionally available at all times is part of the old playbook, and Harry has clearly thrown that book away. This moment feels like a Harry turning point, because it is. Not a dramatic one, not a cinematic one, but a deeply human one. The kind where you realize that surviving something doesn't mean staying trapped inside it forever. Harry has already told his story. He has already paid the price. Choosing peace now is not denial, it's integration. And reconciliation? That word gets waved around like a prize Harry must earn by shrinking himself. But reconciliation without accountability isn't healing, it's suppression. Harry choosing peace does not erase what happened. It simply means he refuses to let unresolved dysfunction dictate the rest of his life. This is why attacks on Harry and Meghan increasingly feel unhinged. The arguments are recycling themselves. The outrage feels rehearsed. The accusations grow more abstract. Because the reality is unavoidable, the Sussexes are no longer playing the same game. Harry signals peace, not because he's lost, but because he's moved on. Meghan, a Sussex prince, stands beside him not as a supporting character, but as a partner who knows exactly who she is. And here's the part nobody wants to admit: the calmer Harry becomes, the more erratic the commentary sounds, which tells you everything you need to know about where the real instability lies. Peace doesn't shout, growth doesn't explain itself, and maturity doesn't ask permission. And that, more than anything else, is what has everyone so rattled.